Once upon a time, nearly every household had a turntable equipped with an automatic record stacker. Some folks say these were the original record destroyers. But were they? Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl, gear, and more. Like many of you, I grew up in a household with a console stereo system, which of course was equipped with a record stacking turntable. The console was huge. It was the size of a small sofa. But back in the day, every household had one of these, and if not, they wanted one of these.
Channel 33 RPM.
Here is my parents' console, which they still own today. While it mostly collects dust, it is a cool relic of a simpler time. As a kid and as a young teenager, I spent countless hours in the living room spinning records on this stereo. The console features an RCA Dementia Q120 amp and a lower-end Garrard 6300 turntable, complete with that record stacker, or as some people call them, automatic record changer. I can't tell you how many watts the stereo is or what sort of speakers are in the cabinet, but it doesn't sound half bad. As far as the controls, it has the usual volume, treble, bass, and balance, and I like the fact that these are sliders rather than knobs. To the left of the controls is room for record storage. As you can see, some of my parents' old records are still here. ABBA, Best of Rod Stewart, Bob Seger, Neil Diamond, the Emeralds, and on and on. As I said, a cool relic of a simpler time. Let's take a closer look at that record changer. The record changer, by the way, was invented in Australia in the 1920s and gained popularity among consumers in the 1950s. The technology allowed you to stack multiple records, which would automatically play one at a time. Record changers fell out of style in the late 1970s over concerns that they scratched records and contributed to warping. More on that coming up, but first, a demonstration. So to get these things going, to start playing a record, the first thing you have to do is make sure the turntable is set to the proper speed and size for the record you want to play. In this case, we are spinning a 12-inch record that plays at 33 RPM. Some of these turntables had feelers that could detect the size of each record. This one does not. Everything else, however, is automatic. Let's start by playing one record. I know some of you have never seen one of these, so it is pretty cool. As I mentioned, this is an automatic turntable, so when the side is over, the tone arm moves up and automatically returns to its cradle. Alright, let's try two records and see the stacker in action. Essentially, you start off the exact same way as you did before, but instead of placing one record on the extended center spindle, you stack two records. Then again, you just make sure you have it on the right speed and the right size. Then you just basically start the thing up. And as you see here, the bottom record drops and plays. Again, as simple as that. And once again, when the side is over, the tone arm returns to its cradle, the next record drops, and the process continues. It's really as simple as that. Of course, these turntables did not flip records automatically. This is why sometimes back in the day you would find double albums with odd or funny numbering. For example, the first record you may find sides 1 and 3, and on the second record you may find sides 2 and 4. This would allow you to stack the records and they would play in the correct order. It was called automatic sequencing. So back to the question I posed at the beginning of this video. Did these stacking turntables damage records? Were they the original vinyl destroyers? Well, truthfully, it depends on who you ask. There were two perceived issues with these record stackers. One, when you left a record suspended on that extended center spindle, there was a fear this would contribute to warping because the records are just kind of hanging there. And two, there were concerns that stacking records would scuff and scratch your prized vinyl. But are these fears legit? It really depends on who you ask and what music forum you search. The scuffing was probably not as bad as audiophiles feared. If you check your older records, you'll see that some had raised centers and raised outer edges. They were pressed this way to prevent the groove areas from rubbing excessively when they were stacked. Also, the spindles were designed to minimize the impact when a record dropped. Personally, I would not play any of my prized records on a record stacking turntable today. Some of the run-of-the-mill stuff, maybe. But let's put this in perspective. Back in the day, my parents played hundreds of records thousands of times on this particular turntable, and they didn't seem to have any issues. So if these things were the original record destroyers, it was a very, very slow process. If you dig gear reviews, you should check out this playlist. Until next time, keep on spinning.